Hello there, Seth Holocron with a Donger deck discussion featuring Mr. Yasuo and Mr. Ezreal and a landmark that I haven't actually made a deck out of yet. So, again, and the whole basis of what we want to do is build new decks with new cards that Riot kindly give us each update and balance and all that sort of stuff. I have decided to make a brand new deck featuring Yasuo and trying to get rid of the problem that, when you really want Yasuo, you can't get him. Hence, we are going to go to the landmark of Yaz. And let us go to said landmark. Which is this? This is the Monastery of Harana. It costs 3, like many landmarks, like Grand Plaza and other things. At the start of each round, however, this creates a sanctuary. And a sanctuary means recall an ally. Oh, that's really good. So let me show how good this actually is. We have in here a recall, which is a fast spell which recalls an ally. It costs 1 mana. It's very good in Yasuo decks. Really good in Yasuo decks. Because Yasuo says, when you stun or recall an enemy, I deal 2 to it. You do that 5 times. He levels and then he does 5 damage. Or 6, or whatever it happens to be when you hit, which is ridiculous. So that's really, really good. His own little spell is stun an attacking enemy, and then you put Yasuo back in your deck. But let's go back to our deck. A few ones in this one. But it's mainly spells. So how on earth are we going to win with 22 spells and 3 landmarks? That's well over half the deck aren't units. That's because your opponent ain't going to be playing a lot. Like, really, just not a lot. And it's a low mana curve. We do have 2 7s and a 9, but everything else is like 4s, which is pretty good. So let us see what the whole premise of this deck is going to be. So, is tilting your opponent a good idea? Yes, because that kind of it gets really, really bad. But the Monastery allows you to kind of play your card and then recall them and then use later. So you're going to be targeting a lot of things, hence Ezreal. And then when you're leveled, your recall card will do a damage every turn. When you target your opponent with Pam, you'll get 2 extra damage. You know how this works, and then there are other things that stun and do. Yes. So let's just show how this works. So 24 from Ionia and 16 from Piltover and Zon, and we're going to start with a spell. Now, if you have played Lee Sin decks or Ezreal decks before, you know you need a lot of spells. Hence, as I put Ezreal in as a secondary win condition, this is kind of good. However, I am still going to tinker with it. So this deck is not completely done. Okay? It really isn't. Okay? So, in this meta, I actually want 3 Nopifies. Okay? I'm going to keep the one excited, but we're going to go through all this. But Rummage is something I actually desperately want. Discarded cards can be bought back with the landmark, which is kind of good. We're going to be playing an awful lot of spells. If you've played Lease Index or all that sort of stuff, Eye of the Dragon is brilliant as it gives you a 2/1 fleeting life-stealing unit as long as you cast 2 spells in the last round. Anybody who's played Lease In knows how easy that is as long as you keep things nice and short. Now, we are not running Thermal Beams in here, but we are running 3 Mystic Shots. So, deal 2 to anything, fantastic. Thank you very much indeed. I'm liking every bit of that altogether. We are now running 3 Nopifies because that is kind of class. Okay, that is really kind of good. And we are also running 3 Retreats, which is very good, and 3 Steel Tempests. Now, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take one of those out each. I was running 1 and 2 3s. Now I'm going to run a 3 and 2 2s. Retreat gives you the return, which is brilliant because this is recalling. And you get anything back, retreat Yasuo. But you can't put him back because he costs 3 less. So what on earth am I going to bring back? So we're going to chump block when we have this in hand. We're going to chump block with the Eye of the Dragon or even Ezreal. And that's how we're going to chump block. And then we're going to get these back for $1. $1 burst speed. None of this is being stopped. Notify whoever stops a fast or a slow spell that costs 3 or less, and skills. So when you put down your stun spider, you can stop your guy being stunned when you're attacking. That's class, because they're probably going to do the worst unit that you have on the board for them, which is your best unit on your side. So Notify, fantastic. We need 3 of in this meta, 100%. Steel Tempest, we get Steel Tempests with Yasuo. If we have one out on the board, he automatically becomes to that, so that will turn that back up to 3, and retreat and all that sort of stuff is fantastic. 3 Ezreals, obviously. Target enemy 6 times, and when you're looking at what we can do here, so there are Mystic Shots, and I get excited. So you discard 1 to deal 3 to anything. And you're going to see an awful lot of sort of discard in here, but it is not the main win condition, because the main win condition is literally killing everything by stunning and recalling other units. You'll also notice that there are none of these. When you stun or recall a unit, grant me +2. Now, the reason being is that these decks have been done before, so I'm trying to do something a little different with this deck. So there we go, and then we get this. The round start, you get to create a Sanctuary in hand. A Sanctuary is a burst spell that is fleeting, so it will disappear. Can't be cast in combat or in response to a spell, so just like a gem that you get from Mountain Goats and Mentor the Stones. But you get to recall an ally, which is just fantastic. Just so good in this deck. It's hilarious. Your opponent is going to go, oh my god. Like, just look at this. So that's us recalling stuff. Okay. It's very hard for them to do anything. Stunning there. Retreat one of ours. All this sort of, there's so much to do. So Monastery is letting you literally level your Yasuo even when you don't have them. You want to get Ezreal and Yasuo leveled as quickly as possible, because that is pretty much how we win with this deck. Chump Bump is brilliant, and he is a 4/3 blocker. That is all he is used for. Do not panic about anything else. That is what he is used for. You also get your Mushroom Cloud, so you can fire a couple of those in once he's getting down to about 5 or 6, and then, you know, that maybe the 1 or 2 that you can pull will win you the game. Concussive Palm, an absolute dead fire cert in any single Yasuo deck, because then you get a Tail of the Dragon. I'm running 1 Deny. Just the 1. Okay, now Deny is excellent. I mean, I could go for 2 Notifies and 2 Denies, which is probably what I will do here, because Deny is too good not to be running as a 3 of either. And then let's go down to the others. Concussive Palm, I have said this in other videos, gives you this, but if it's going to die and not really do an awful lot with it, the perfect thing to do would be use your 1 Will of Ionia to recall it, and it makes it go back to another Concussive Palm, and you can loop that once, or you can get rid of a massive big unit when it's attacking. Will of Ionia is brilliant, and you need 1 at least in here. So Static Shot, that does 1 to an enemy or the enemy nexus, or 1 to 2 enemies, and then you draw a card, which is fantastic. Yone stuns 2 enemies. Well, there, by the time that's happening, things are in a real bad way, and for 7 mana you get a 6/6 unit who is very hard to get taken off the board unless you're using things like Vengeance or your own Thermal Beams and all that sort of stuff. And minus Swiftfoot to recall 3 enemies. That's brilliant, because as soon as you play it, you want to have at least 3 enemies out there, and then you put them back in their hand, and they now have to pay for them all again for the second time, and that literally wins you the game. As she is a 7/6 with quick attack and will probably kill if they have something else out there. Yeah, if they've got no mana, then you can hit it out. The fast attack from the quick lightning thing will blow it out of the water. She won't take any damage whatsoever, and you can win. So remember, this is all built around recalling things. You're going to recall all of your things. All of them. Your Eye of the Dragon, your Ezreal, your Chomp Womp. But what you've got to remember is when Ezreal is leveled, your recall card, okay? Your recall card will do 1 damage every turn. Every single turn. And if you target your opponent with Concussive Palm, you'll get 2 extra damage. That's phenomenal. So the likes of, get excited. I guess we're only running the 1, but Mystic Shots are just really good. Burn units off the board, just get rid of them until you get the removal down, and the removal will be like Chomp Womp. The Dragon is just brilliant. You can kind of stall, you can kind of use them up. You have 3 of them, but you can then bring them back. So if they go down to 1 after taking damage, bring it back out again, keep these going. It's like your opponent really can't kill what he wants to kill. Retreat is fantastic when you don't have the landmark, because you just pull things back, right? And you've got umpteen things you can discard when you want to use Rummage. Now, I'm sorry, but this deck has got umpteen tricks up its sleeve, to the point that if I was playing against this, I'd want to hurt somebody really badly for playing an asshole deck, because this is a deck of assholeness. It is really frustrating to play against. It ain't nice to come up against. And I've been thinking about a deck like this for a while. I was trying to get something to make Harana Monastery a thing. It is definitely not a thing at the minute. It's like 100% not a meta card. Can this deck with Yaz, who, as we all know, if he levels, oh my god, it is just horrendous. We will level our Yasuo really easy. Sadly, I had to go with P and Z in here to get Ezreal as our second win condition, because he, as we all know, can win a deck all by himself with enough spells. And as I say, we have 22 spells in this deck. So this is my Monastery Yaz deck. So let me actually make that what it is, because it's not landmark. Let's go for Monastery, because I think that will remind me that that is actually what this is, because I make far too many decks. And there we go. Monastery Yaz. Deckcode and links to our Discord, all that sort of stuff in the pinned comments. Please give the video a like. As soon as you sat and watched it, it takes time and effort to make all these, much as I adore doing them, and I really do. It helps grow our viewing figures and lets more people see the great decks that we cover in a Donger deck discussion. So my name is Sith Holocron. Thank you very, very much for watching. I hope you enjoy it. If you do, we release videos every 2 days with brand new decks, brand new cards. Until then, thank you very much for watching. Take it easy. Dongers out.